Hi, my name is Amanda Nevels, and this is my organizational profile for Bryan ISD. Our superintendent is Ginger Carabine, and she's supported by a group of community members that form our Board of Trustees. Below her, we have sub-superintendents in many different departments. The main department I'm going to be talking about is the Teaching and Learning Department, and that department is run by Dr. Barbara Ibarra, the Associate Superintendent. At Bryan ISD, community involvement is extremely important to our culture. As a district, we constantly have community involvement projects to involve our community in growing our school district. And not only do we get the community members involved, but we also get the kids involved. And this is a great example. Our Bryan ISD Build program was implemented this year. Students, community members, parents, all came together to build a house for a family in need. And I absolutely love how they got the kids involved in this project. As you can see in the upper left-hand corner, every 2x4 is decorated by a student in Bryan ISD, sharing their happy thoughts, sharing their love and their appreciation for the family. This is just one way Bryan ISD puts community above all else. One of the main reasons our culture is so strong at Bryan ISD is that from kinder all the way to 12th grade, we teach the essential 8 characteristics. This is something that was brought to our district by our last superintendent, and she really made it something we could all connect to, and even went so far as having instructional coaches create content and interactive content and relate it to the actual curriculum that we were studying from K all the way through 12th grade. The essential 8 characteristics are kindness, tolerance, gratitude, philanthropy, work ethic, optimism, courage, and leadership. And our students truly know what these words are and what they mean and how they can use these characteristics to strengthen our culture. I wanted to include this video of our mayor actually getting involved in our essential 8 characteristics. Bryan ISD tries very hard to get different community leaders involved so we can set an example for our students.
Hi, I'm Andrew Nelson, Mayor of Bryan. I love serving as the mayor, and I love BISD's Essential 8. BISD did this amazing thing. They allowed me to come on stage and shake hands for graduates. And I was shaking hands and going through this, and all of a sudden up comes a student, and I didn't recognize it because there's so many I'm shaking, but he just comes up and he gives me this huge hug and he says, "Thank you, Coach Nelson." And that was special. So I was like, wow, it was one of my Little League guys. And as soon as he said Coach Nelson, I was like, oh, and I knew exactly who he was, and we had this great moment. You never realize the impact you make when you're just kind of doing your job. Well, I definitely found about gratitude very early on, and it's like most people probably, my parents. I mean, my parents taught me love by loving me, and I was grateful that I was getting their love, their protection, their care, and you feel that. You feel that closeness to your parents. You don't know necessarily to call it gratitude, but you love and you appreciate your parents, and when you're young, that can extend to your teachers, it can extend to friends, the things that people do for you. It's people holding the door for you. It's people doing things that they don't have to do. They're not necessarily because they're getting paid to do it. They're going and doing things for you just because they want to help you. And those are the very special things. Grew up here in the Brazos Valley, arrived into the community at a very early age. My mom worked at the vet school. My dad was getting a degree at Texas A&M, and so spent a lot of days here biking around. And I'm thinking one time we were up at Kyle Field when they still had it unlocked and you could just bike around and be around. And I remember my brother being at the very top of the ramps, and he was skateboarding down, and he fell and broke his ankle. And he's crying for help, and there's a student in the Corps Cadets who heard us, came all the way up to the saw, and my brother wasn't light. He wasn't a 5-year-old. He was probably And this cadet picked him up and carried him all the ramps, all the way across the street. We didn't have cell phones at the time, so we had to find, call our parents, and we did so. And he took care of us. He treated us like we were his family. And I don't even remember his name. He just was this guardian angel, and it makes you want to do that. I mean, it really inspires you to want to make that difference too, and have that joy of serving. What I'm most grateful for is the community of Bryan itself. As mayor, I'm called on to be a professional problem solver. When they come to me and present a problem, they're also working and saying, well, I thought this might be a way to do it. So they're not just coming to gripe, they're coming to solve problems. The fact that they're even thinking about solutions means their mindset is in a very constructive place. And as a mayor, I'm so grateful for that. And it makes it so easy for me to serve, because I'm serving people where we're all loving our community and wanting the same thing. We may have different ideas of how to get there. We may have the same ideas of how to get there, but we have this shared love of our community. And I feel very grateful for that. Gratitude matters because people all around us are serving us and doing things for us, and it makes the world work.
Discovered that the biggest impediment to achieving a successful corporate transformation effort is culture. And this is a quote by John Mattone, and I agree with this wholeheartedly. The video that I've included definitely shows our culture at Bryan ISD. So take a look and grow with us. As a result of the House Bill 3906 passed in 2019, the State of Texas Assessments of Academic Readiness, or STAR test, was redesigned to more accurately assess the state standards. This happened on the heels of an ending pandemic where students were leaving online classrooms and coming back to face-to-face learning. The Texas Education Agency, or TEA, redesigned the mode and format of the STAR assessment, directly impacting all districts in Texas, including Bryan ISD. The four major changes included online testing. Students were no longer taking paper test copies. They were taking all assessments online. New question types, such as multi-select and drop-down. No longer are test questions only A, B, C, or D. Also, we have cross-curricular passages where content is being compared between articles and students are expected to analyze articles. Finally, we have evidence-based writing. This is definitely different for writing teachers and for students because we used to teach personal narratives. Students were able to be creative and tell their stories on their STAR tests, showing voice and character. Now students are answering questions based on text evidence, providing 3 to 5 paragraph essays based on content. Thanks to an interview with Charlene Pierce, head of the Teaching and Learning in Elementary English Language Arts Department of Bryan ISD, I gained insight into the planning, implementation, and effectiveness of the changes Bryan ISD underwent in order to meet the expectations of the redesigned state assessment. Department leadership attended several state-level training sessions, walking away with not as many examples as they wanted to of the new testing elements. After researching the new test expectations, our team of instructional coaches took on the challenge of analyzing data and creating a plan of implementation. Pierce's curriculum writers created online content for classroom application and training materials for teachers to understand the expectations of the state. She explained that teachers were most resistant to the change of testing from paper to online and evidence-based writing integrated with reading passages. That resistance to the changes, Pierce's team communicated the new expectations via training, emails, open forums, and newsletters. They also implemented 3 important strategies to aid student testing. The first thing curriculum writers implemented was online district assessments. They tried to, as closely as possible, reflect what the STAR test would look like in monthly district assessment tests, so students would have the experience of the STAR test on a regular basis. The curriculum writers also realized that constructive responses were an area of improvement, so they provided teachers with weekly prompts for short constructive responses and extended constructive responses, and modeled for teachers how to implement these into their classrooms. Most importantly, the curriculum writers made sure that communication was open between writers and teachers. They provided monthly collaborative meetings, encouraging teachers to communicate their needs. Dale Kirk stated, "In today's organizations, the rate of change has never been more rapid or more consistent. This is apparent with the Bryan ISD curriculum. Curriculum writers are constantly collecting student data and teacher input to revise and reassess curriculum implementation." In closing, I would like to encourage teachers and leadership to gradually take on change in steps and stages, such as Dale Kirk suggests, and really celebrate those small wins like Dr. Michelle Bly suggests. A small win is still a win.